Dr. Saul, this is such a hopeful message today for sure. You had mentioned before that vitamin C could help people with infectious diseases. Maybe we should talk about that for a few minutes as well.
Yes, there's just no question about that. The amount of vitamin C varies, though. The sicker you are, the more you need. You don't take the amount of C that you think you should need. You take the amount that works. You take the amount that gets the job done. That amount could be higher than you ever imagined. When I had viral pneumonia, and that's what happens when you don't follow the rules, I got run down. I had viral pneumonia. Now, a friend of mine was an internist. I went to see him, and he said, "Here's an antibiotic." And I said, "Wait a minute, this is viral pneumonia, you told me." He said, "Yeah." I said, "Well, antibiotics don't work against viruses." He said, "No, that's for a secondary infection that might develop. There's really nothing I can give you for the virus except cough medicine and tell you to stay in bed for a couple weeks." So I thought to myself, all right, I'll try vitamin C. After all, Dr. Cathcart and Dr. Corner were curing pneumonia with it, and I have pneumonia. This is a perfect time to find out if this will work. Well, I ended up taking 2,000 milligrams of vitamin C every 6 minutes I was awake. No, that is not something that I misspoke on. I took 2,000 milligrams of C every 6 minutes I was awake. That's 20,000 milligrams an hour. Now, I had a terrible cough, and I had a very high fever. At 20,000 milligrams an hour, 2,000 milligrams every 6 minutes, in 3 hours, my fever came down 3 degrees, and my cough stopped. Now, that is quite impressive. Here's something even more amazing. A friend of mine who was, in fact, a healthcare provider had a baby who was about a year old, weighed in the neighborhood of 20 pounds. The child had been sick a lot. In the first year of its life, it had had 11 full courses of antibiotics in 12 months. Generally speaking, overuse of antibiotics is a big problem in and of itself. But aside from the fact that it fosters disease-resistant strains of microorganisms, let's just look at it from the point of view of the baby. If you give antibiotics over and over again, it's not going to work. If they don't work the first couple, 3 times, it's not going to work. You can beat a dead horse all day, and it's not going to get up. So just don't. What happened then was the father wondered what could be done for this child. Now, the child is very sick. It had a fever. It had mucus in its throat, and its eyes were runny. Its skin was red. It was coughing and sneezing. It was crying, and nobody had slept for I don't know how many nights. The child was under the care of a pediatrician. They were doing everything that you could. It wasn't working. So in our conversation, I mentioned, well, have you tried high doses of vitamin C? He said, I'll try anything. So I told him about it, my own experiences with it. And he talked to me about the saturation. He said, well, how much? I mean, this is a baby. I said, I really don't know. Why don't you do the best you can, give the child as much C as you can, and give it enough to get better, but not so much as causes loose stool. And he said, well, how do I get into a baby? I said, well, you could get chewable C and crush them into a powder, or get liquid C, or get crystals and put it in juice, any way at all. So he worked it out, and the bottom line is this. He gave this 20-pound baby 20,000 milligrams of vitamin C. The child slept through the night, and the symptoms were better that night. High doses of vitamin C work so well for colds and flu and infectious illnesses that you would never even think of getting a flu shot ever again.
The rest of this interview, plus much more, is available in the Natural News Inner Circle. Join us today.